Welcome back. Here we are again. This ain't take two. You see the metal. You know what Burner about. No, like, come on, man. Like, I don't even know what they play with, man.
They'll learn eventually.
Eventually. Wait, the Brothers Grim Talk?
They did.
They what?
Yeah.
Man. I'm not upset, but it is what it is. So, here we are.
Alright, I'll jump right into it. So, this is my second playthrough Deity deck. This is the deck that I thought was going to be the most explosive coming out of the gate of Ace. A lot of people thought it was going to be Godpunks and they thought it was going to be Ashwadia, but this is the one I first saw being the strongest, so let's get right into it. This is the centerpiece of the deck. This is Gargantua Dragon, also my buddy. 7,000 power, 2 crit, and 4,000 defense. It's not his double attack or his soul guard that makes him good. To me, what makes him good is the fact that he has G-Evo. G-Evo or Gargantua Evolution is a keyword or a triggered ability that allows him, for no cost, at the end of each of his battles, to summon a Dragod over top of him for absolutely free. Most of my combos and kill plays come out of this card and this card alone. Let's get into some of the options. Contrary to popular belief, you do not need to run the trial deck Garga at 4. Awakened Deity Gargantua Dragon is actually a good side card or support card. You can make him the centerpiece because he does function like Gargantua Dragon. He does have the G-Evo. He does have the ability to open up combos and open up plays, but it's harder to defend him because he doesn't have Soul Guard. What I actually do with Awakened Deity is a little combo that I've cooked up after training for so long with members of Burner World. His 2 crit plus the 2 crit of Pugilist Dragon, Gargantua Dragon, equals 5. I don't have to spend any gauge if I go into him and then into him on the second turn. If I can get my opponents to 5 life with an empty center, I can go directly into Deity Gargantua Punisher and get an easy win. Contrary to popular belief, you do not need Blast Move to win the game. These two open up combos. They allow me to not brick as bad if I don't get my buddy, and they also are targets for my opponent to select for destruction effects to whiff cards, because there's a card I'm going to get into later that allows me to set up good traps that you wouldn't expect from a Dragon deck. Moving along to the next card. I run 4 copies of Gargantua Dragon Sonic Moon. This card was the card that people talked about the most throughout the event because a lot of people didn't see this card as being good. A lot of people were wondering why I don't run more Blast Mode as opposed to Sonic Mode, and that reason is because of the sustain. The sheer amount of life gain and draw this card gives you, especially if you loop it like I do, is absolutely absurd.
Yeah, like, I ain't even gonna hold you. Every match that I saw, D.D.Tribe, Dragod, whatever the fuck you want to call him, there was always a Sonic Mode on board.
Had to be Sonic Mode. To me, he is the best Garga out right now. Sonic Mode is better. Yes, you can kill somebody with Blast Mode. You can just G them and they can't do nothing about it. He's like an impact on a stick. However, he's a prima donna in my eyes, and what I mean by that is you have to like build towards him. Sonic Mode doesn't need anything. He just, I'm here, you got to deal with me. And if you don't deal with me, then I'm just going to kill you. He has 10,000 defense, 2 crit, 7,000 power, and the most beautiful thing about him is that he has counterattack. With Gargantua Dragon Sonic Mode, what you do is you have 3 copies of whatever. Let's say you had base form, G-Evo into another base form, and then from that base form, G-Evo into a demo deck Garga, and then finally you go into Sonic Mode. You pass turn, and you have something with 3 soul, 10,000 defense, counterattack, and soul guard. That's just ridiculous. On top of the fact that you have other cards that supplement his defense and make him better, such as Loudvoice.
Do you have anybody try to break your soul?
I did. I had someone try to rip my soul, and then after trying to rip my soul, try to destroy him, they would whiff because I had the guard crystal on the field, And then after whiffing, they said, all right, well, it's cool. As long as you don't have him on the field, I'll be able to win. So what they would do is they would dedicate their biggest monster to him. I would confirm that this is their target. And then I would just simply use Gargantua Switch Mode to have another Sonic move go on top of the Sonic move, giving him more soul and making the target whiff. At that point, one of my opponents, I forgot which round it was, he just scooped. Because he knew he couldn't win.
There it is. Thanks for the 2 life, homie.
Yes.
Another card a lot of people weren't thinking about was Garcat. Yes, Garcat is basically a clone of the card. I think his name is Flare Fang or Fire Fang. It's a Sun Dragon card.
The whole size 1 charge.
Right, size 1 charge and draw cards. A lot of people misread him. And they were like, wasn't Garcat clogging your hand? And I'm like, why would he clog my hand? They're like, because you can only use him once, right? I'm like, no, he has no clause on him that says he's once per turn. So if I go play Garcat, charge and draw a Garcat, I can just play him again, charge and draw. Garcat would draw me a card such as Gar Oracle, which draws me more cards, draw 2, get another Garcat, charge and draw, and my opponent would sit there going, wait, what? Are you sure that's how this works? And yeah, that's what it does.
Remember when you had to work for cards? Not anymore.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Yeah.
Another reason besides the beautiful sustain he gives me, Garcat has 5,000 attack power. Yes, that's not impressive. Yes, it may not seem like much, but with the support of another card in my deck that I'm going to get into later, this 5,000 allowed me to beat over most centers with just Garcat alone, which opened them up for Blast Move. I really like this card, and if I wasn't running my buddy, I would have Garcat as my buddy, just so you guys out there were wondering if he was worth being one. Alright. This is the guy that a lot of you were also confused about because you were wondering, well, where the hell is he? Where's the big guy in the deck? Where's the Big Daddy Blast?
Big Daddy.
We'll get to him in a second, but instead, what I'm going to cover is this guy right here.
Saw that guy on the field a lot too.
Landsguard Dragon. Most of you out there ran him at 1. Some of you out there ran him at 2. But me, I ran him at 3 for 3 reasons. 1, there is a card called Into the Future. Into the Future is very popular in 5th Omni decks. It's very popular in Stall Candle decks or Death Count Requiem. And cards such as, forgive me for butchering the name, but it's a Danger World / Dragon World card that says...
Oh no, not a Requiem, because it's Black Dragon.
No.
You got hit an Armor Dragon.
Yeah, Into the Future is Dragon Star and Darkness.
Yeah, but the cash you got Rip a Soul out of Armor Dragon.
Right, but I'm just naming all of the cards that rest monsters that I encounter.
Say no more.
It's a card called, I actually have it. It's a Danger World and Dragon World card.
Oh, you're
that a lot of God punks were using.
the trap. Whatever, fucking bind, something's bind.
Demonic Horror or Bind or something like that.
Yeah.
You guys know what I'm talking about.
It's life, rest equal, from a weapon.
Right. The one that says equal to the career weapon rest. They would try to use that on me, and they would ignore everything else on my field and go directly after Garga. It's like he had one of those abilities from an MMO, like a taunt or
like
provoke.
He had a provoke.
Yeah, they would always focus on him because I think the presumption was that this deck failed if he wasn't on the field, which is incorrect. It didn't fail if he wasn't on the field. It failed if you didn't have a multitude of him in your hand. If I had him in my hand, it didn't matter what the field was like. I could always just summon on top of himself and keep on going.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Another thing about Landsguard Dragon that makes him really good is that he has the ability to give all other Dragods Penetrate. Penetrate, as you all know, is very important in this meta because a lot of decks can create a very sizable center that is really difficult to beat down, and it also allows you to get past old meta. So his Penetrate plus his triple attack also surprised a lot of people, and the fact that he had an extra layer of defense for Garga made him really good, so that's why I ran him at 3. In any matchup where I wasn't able to actually use Garga the way I wanted to, I would just side him out for other defensive cards that I'll show you guys later.
See, I'm not upset at the card. I'm just upset it got triple attack.
Yeah, triple attack on a size 2 that resizes into a 1, that's kind of
That
ridiculous.
tells you, God, I'm damn near invincible.
Right.
Like, well,
Yeah, we already started out the gate with the bullshit,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah. Alright, I'll get to the card you guys wanted to see the most, and I'll get my thoughts on them.
Our Lord and Savior, Big Daddy Tribe.
Gargantua Dragon Blasphemy. Some of you have seen the anime, some of you have seen the matches, some of you have play tested them with yourself, and I'm sure you felt good about your win that you received with them, but take it from me. I think I know what I'm talking about when I say that this card is not as important to you as you think it is. You don't want to see him at the beginning of the game because you cannot utilize him at the beginning of the game. That's number one. Number two, he has no defensive options whatsoever. When you go into him, you want to close the game. If you go into him and you don't close the game, you have to spend time resetting your board, calling out another Garga, building up a gauge and resource for that Garga to use him properly, and then going back into him again. This card is one of your finishers of the deck. So if you go into him, you have to be absolutely sure you are going to kill them. Gargantua Dragon has double attack, soul guard, and this particular form of him has an ability that allows him to gain 1 additional crit when he enters the field, and if he entered via G-Evo, he cannot be nullified, nor can the damage that he deals be reduced. The wording of that is very, very important because a lot of my matchups people were confused about how that worked. For example, I actually played against another Garga deck, and he used Loud Voice. He only had 1 copy, he just played test and used Loud Voice. And he spent 3 cards to reduce the board by 9,000 and 3 crit. So I swung on him for donuts, and then eventually I went into Gargantua Dragon Blasphemy. So when I attacked him, it may have been a little deceptive, but I just said, all right, I'm just going to attack you. Are you going to defend? And he got confused for a second. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm not going to block it. You're not going to do anything to me. I said, I'm going to confirm again. Are you going to block it? He says, no. I said, all right, cool, take 4. He's like, that's impossible. You have no critical. And then he called a judge. The judge came over. He's like, no, you cannot reduce the damage he deals, and the damage he would deal is 4. So just off that alone, he won me the game. Yes, he's a good card. Yes, he's strong. Yes, he should be in your deck. I am not saying take him out, but for all of you players out there that are going to focus on Dragon World, specifically the Deity build, do not run him at more than 3, please. Please, please, please. If you want to run 4, throw 1 in the sideboard. 4 is too much, he'll clog your hand, and you don't want to die because you didn't have what you needed. Alright, those are all of the monsters of my deck, surprisingly enough. I don't run Guard Dog, I don't run Guard Bird, I don't run Guard Einar, and although those cards are good, there are more things you can do with this deck instead of playing the animals. Let's get into these spells. This one. D.D. Dragon Sword Guardblade. I only run 1. You guys are confused about it, I know.
Because it don't do nothing.
It doesn't do anything, and that's exactly why I run it. There was a matchup that I actually encountered that a lot of people weren't expecting to see, in which this was vital to my victory. I'm talking about Levitine. And if you don't know the Levitine, then you know it by Swords. The Swords deck has a card that says if your monster is 10,000 power or above, that card gives them 23,000 defense. That's really, really hard to hit over.
Jump man.
And showing you this next weapon, D.D. Dragon Sword Garchris, this one actually buffs my Gargas on the field, specifically my Dragods. So
+4, so they usually
right,
get to like 11 and
right.
shit.
So I couldn't hit them. So what I would do is I would use Dragod Shine to search for this to basically nerf my Gargas down to 7 so they could hit, which gave me the game. This card is not good per se, but it is a searchable option that I can choose that can actually beat over them. And plus, most of the time, If this 4 crit that this can deal goes uncontested, that gives me just enough damage I need to go into the Punisher. So I run this at 1 just so I can get out of bad matchups where my power being too much can hurt me, and also because it has double attack. Getting 3 attacks in this deck is the most important thing I can do. Also, it cannot be destroyed. Yes, it's not a good weapon. Yes, it's not important. You don't really need to run it, but it's something you should consider.
So practicality versus efficiency.
Indeed. You already saw it, I just explained it, but this card is vital to the Dragod deck. I believe that this card should probably be run at 4 until they release something better, simply for the fact that it makes your Dragods invincible. And what I mean by invincible, they cannot be destroyed by card effects. It's something that allowed me to win most of my matchups off of sheer misplays alone, because my opponents, as I mentioned earlier, would go straight for the Garga and go, alright, kill him. If I kill him, then I won't have any more problems. I can win this match. And again, I would just sit there and I would go, okay, so you're targeting my Gargantua. Yes, I'm going to use this card or this ability or this effect to destroy him. And I'll go, alright, cool. So you got anything else? No, that's what I'm going to do. Alright, cool. So you're going to proceed to the next action. They're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, again, it cannot be destroyed. And they would pick up Guard Chris and be like, that's impossible. Nani, what happened? I don't just run it for the protection it provides. I run it because it gives out 4,000 power to all Dragods on the field, and it gives out 4,000 power to itself. So this weapon has 9,000 attack power. By itself, that's already hitting base form of Thora. This card is really, really good. And it wasn't even in the secret pack. That's the most confusing part of it all.
If this is too overpowered, I will remove it.
Seems good to me.
Indeed. I run 2 Guard Break. Guard Break allows me to crack spells, crack items, crack monsters, crack whatever I want, provided that a size 2 D.D.Tribe attacks on my field. In matchups where I couldn't destroy their stuff, was an easy side. I could just throw it out the side, get some more resource cards, get some more monsters, whatever I need to do. But I definitely wanted this to be in the main board because I didn't want to run into a situation where they would put too many sets or too many monsters that I couldn't deal with quickly enough on the field. So that's why I ran this set too. Loud Voice. Loud Voice has been with me since the start of this game, essentially, because in reality, my actual buddy is bots. And not only that, Loud Voice is a card that essentially turns all of your cards in your deck into shields. By throwing away a card as the cost for this card, you can reduce your everything on your opponent's field by 3,000 power, 1 crit, and 3,000 defense. For every card you discard, you reduce that much more power. So for example, if I discard 3 cards to Loud Voice's cost, then I am going to reduce their field by 9,000 power, 3 crit, and 9,000 defense for the turn. This is a field effect. So this is a really strong card that you should run in basically every Dragon World deck if you can find the space for it.
You played 4 of it in Dragon World.
Yeah, but sure, you kind of messed that one up. I don't know what you were thinking, but all right, seems good to me. If anything, because I know a lot of you have been messaging me, asking me about what I thought about the ratio of this. If anything, I wouldn't run less Loud Voice, I would run more. But I wouldn't run it in the main deck. I would run 1 in the sideboard. Just so I can see it versus Swords. Just so I can see it versus Link Dragon Order. Just so I can see it versus Gear God and all the rest of the Flower Mechs that can hit you for crits. Or against Garden himself.
Yeah, because they use this against I forgot his name, but he with a TBI, Team Burning Affinity, and he had Sonic mode on the field.
He did.
And you was like, cool, here's Loud Voice, your Sonic mode pretty much weak.
Right.
I'm gonna run over there.
With a cat or something.
Run over there with a cat. There it is.
Yeah, Loud Voice has been, I will say, the top 3 MVPs of my deck for the entire event were Loud Voice, Sonic Mode, and surprise, surprise, Bots Cross Link. That card has saved me so many times it doesn't make any sense. Let's get on to the next one though. Guard Parry, very simple. Elevocation, it's a shield essentially that's not a shield, and it draws me a card. Best part about this card is not that it draws me a card, or that it is a shield. The best part about Guard Parry is that I can use it even if there's a monster in my center. So I can use Sonic mode, move to the center, put the wall up, guard parry, guard parry, guard parry. I love this card, and I would not run it at less than 4. Highly recommend it.
It's just a free Arc Dragon shit.
Literally. Super free.
Thanks, Bushy Road.
Next card I run is Guard Oracle. Draws you 2 cards if you have a D.D.Tribe on the field. Very simple. Added bonus of giving you 2 life if you have a Dragod on the field. You can only use it once per turn, but honestly, once per turn is all you need in D.D. because this deck can explode if you need it to.
Clarity drops.
Delete, agree, box cross link.
Yep.
Now, I actually just got these not too long ago before the onset of Buddyfight Ace, and I never ran them in my Thunder Empire deck because I felt as though it was a waste of money with how much resource the deck could gain. But this card finds the perfect home in Deity because it allows you to get what you need when you need it. Do you need blast move? Go into box cross link, do a little bit of digging. If you get it, you get it. If you don't worry about it. You are going to find something in this deck that you're going to need. And I cannot tell you how many times I have used box cross link to grab me D.D. Gargantua Punisher for game. If not the Punisher, it will give me Guard Chris so I can protect my field. If not Guard Chris, it will give me a cat to open up into the draw possibilities of drawing a cat, into a Guard Oracle, into a Sonic move, into a mode switch, into another Sonic move, just off of this card alone. Box Cross Link is another card that, although is old meta, I believe is vital for the longevity of the Deity deck moving forward.
Or Dragon World.
Because this is a card you can just straight up use in Dragon World.
That's right.
Good cards are good.
Good cards are good. Remember the motto.
So for all you guys out there that play Dragon World, it doesn't have to be Deity. Hell, if you want to use these in Dimensional Dragons that are coming out in the future or Blood Dragon, you should pick up these. 3 copies for minimum and max it out if you need to. I run 4 copies of Dragod Shine. A lot of you were asking me if Dragod Shine was ever clogging my hand. The answer to that is no. The reason why this doesn't clog my hand is because it allows me to recycle my Dragods. It allows me to cycle Gargos. If Gargo was ever to die or be removed from the field in any way, it allowed me to get him right out of the drop and do it again. Having 4 copies of this, to me, essentially translates to 2, 4, 6, 8 copies of Garga that I was guaranteed to have all game if I ever drew into these. And it's not just that. Dragod Shine allows me to also go in the deck either or, so I either get the Dragods out of the drop or go into the deck and grab any Dragon Deity Tribe weapon. So if I ever needed to go into D.D. Dragon Sword Guard Blade, I would use the Shine to grab it. Or if I could not find this in my opening hand, I would use the Shine to grab it. Dragod Shine was one of the most important cards in my deck, and I don't think personally the deck can work without it.
Just a quick heads up, camera dying.
Alright, got you. I run 3 copies of Gargantua Mode Switch.
You already know what it is.
You already know what it is. It switches you up. It allows you to go into a mode that cannot naturally G-Evo. If you're going to play this deck, you are going to play this card in some amount.
Yeah, there's basically like, what is it, like this giant hand thing just
And last but not least, Deity Gargantua Punisher.
No Punisher.
This card needs no explanation. The only thing I'm going to say about it is that using all the cards that I just showed you from this deck, if you play your cards right and you maneuver through your turns properly, this card is all but guaranteed to win you the game. I'll recommend it at 2. You can run 3, but if you're going to play this deck, you must run this card.
Can I get that check as 2 for 5?
I'm going to go over to Saber real quick, and I'm going to leave you guys with that. 2 chest break. Helps out against God Punk with the set spell. Helps out against items that run too wild because you can nerf them using the miniature loud voice effect. Helps out with just problematic things that just sit there and annoy you all game. Good card. 2 Demon Lords, Roaring Dragon Blast, because Link Dragon Order is a thing, and I really don't want to deal with the multiple life gain. It also draws you cards, which draws you cards, which draws you cards. So, if anything, consider running this in a sideboard. I run 2 Overturn Armor Dragon, Drum Bunker Dragon, because this card has allowed me to one-shot problematic centers like King Agito, get them out of the way because I nullify all their abilities, and then go in for game with the Punisher. If they ever had a monster with more than 3 soul, or if I'm playing the mirror match and they have a Dragod on the field, such as Sonic Move, that was going to cost me the game, I would sideboard into Armor Dragon Drum Bunker, and then I would just use his Overturn, something that nobody was expecting to see in a Dragodi deck, and just go for game. His attack, plus the attack of the weapon, plus the fact that you basically start with 10 life for this game, means that Punisher was well within range. And the last card in the deck period, sideboard and all, the card that has gotten me to the placement that I am now, Dragod Tribe.
It is. You can't attack. Oh, alright.
Dragod Tribe took out the majority of my sideboard, and it is the card that has stopped Thunder Emperor's Fangs. It is the card that has stopped Gaian Christ. It is the card that has stopped Blast Move. This card, for the low price of 2 life and 1 gauge, can tell one of your opponent's monsters you can't do shit for the turn. And that is all you need for game.
Now you choose a card, man.
Right.
That means they got that nasty item. You like,
right, like those, those items that say, yeah, you can't block me, you can't nullify me, you gonna take this crit. No, I'm not gonna take nothing, big fella. You gonna take this sadness. Dragod Tribe is a really good card, and if you guys are trying to get on this Deity train, I highly suggest, you get 4 copies of these. You are going to see this card, you are going to need this card. Used against you, used for you. This card is going to be in your competitive lifespan if you're playing this. I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say for now. If I ever find any hot new spicy techs, I'll let you know. But if anything, you're going to have to see that in the middle of a tournament because I got some testing to do. I'll be catching you guys later.
It's good. It is. This Burning World, Kings of the Top 2. If you ain't know. Yeah, that's it. Catch us next time. Hopefully in October. That's it.